Hi, this is John Kelly. I'm a personal injury attorney that handles birth injury cases throughout the nation. I've been doing a series on birth injuries, and I now have the sixth part of this series, cerebral palsy from birth injuries. Few words spoken by a doctor can shake a parent's world like cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is not a specific injury or disease, but rather a broad term for a set of neurological disorders affecting movement and posture caused by brain damage or abnormal brain development. When CP is the result of birth injury, such as oxygen deprivation, H.I.E, a severe newborn illness, or other trauma, parents often have been on a long journey from the initial injury to the diagnosis. You may have spent months or years noticing developmental delays, undergoing evaluations, and finally getting this confirmation. Even if you suspect it, hearing it is officially can be overwhelming. It's important to know that you are not alone, and cerebral palsy diagnosis is not the end of hope. It's the beginning of getting your child the interventions they need to thrive. In this part of the series, we'll delve into cerebral palsy as it relates to birth injuries, the statistics and outcomes, the treatments and strategies to maximize a child's abilities, the emotional and practical support for families, and the legal rights and resources available. Many children with cerebral palsy grow up to lead fulfilling lives, and with love and support, your family can navigate this journey. I now want to discuss understanding cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy results from damage to the developing brain, often are due to events around the time of birth. It can be caused by H.I.E, which we've covered in an earlier section, but is the lack of oxygen, as we discussed, by Kernicterus, severe jaundice, by strokes or bleeding in the brain, or by infections or other issues. Sometimes the exact cause isn't known. Cerebral palsy primarily affects motor function, muscle control, tone, coordination, and reflexes. Depending on the location and the extent of brain injury, CP can present in different forms. The most common type is spastic cerebral palsy, where muscles are stiff and movements are difficult. This accounts for about 75 to 85% of CP cases. Others include diskinetic CP, which is uncontrolled movements. Some children have a mixed CP. The severity of this varies widely. One child with CP might only have a mild limp and might otherwise be indistinguishable from peers, while another might be unable to walk and need assistance with daily activities. There are associated issues that can include seizures, learning disabilities, visual or hearing impairments, and difficulties with feeding or speech. Though not every child has all or even any of these, cerebral palsy really is a spectrum. Now, some of the statistics. Cerebral palsy is the most common motor disability in children. In the United States, about 1 in 345 children has been identified with cerebral palsy, which equates to roughly 2 to 3 cases per 1,000 live births. Around the world, rates are similar in developed countries and higher in areas with less access to modern medical care and newborn care. It's estimated that over 17 million people worldwide have CP. Importantly, with improvements in the NICU care, more infants who survive events like severe H.I.E might still develop CP, but often with less severe outcomes than in decades of the past. In terms of causes, experts report that birth injuries or asphyxia are involved in up to 20 to 30% of CP cases. The rest may be due to prematurity or genetic factors. So when CP is linked to birth injury, it's a significant subset, but not the only cause of it. I now want to go over the outcomes and life with cerebral palsy. CP is a lifelong condition, and the brain injury is not reversible. It's important to know that many individuals with CP lead rich, fulfilling lives. Outcomes depend on severity and associated conditions, but here are some broad points. Mobility. Thanks to therapies, mobility aids, and sometimes surgeries, a large portion of people with CP can walk, at least for short distances or with assistive devices. According to data, over 50% of children with CP can walk independently without assistive devices. About 85% can walk either independently or with a handheld mobility device. Those who cannot walk can often use wheelchairs or walkers to be mobile. CP by itself is a motor condition, but because the brain injury can sometimes be widespread or due to events that also affect the brain globally, about half of children with CP have some level of intellectual disability. The other half have the average to above average intelligence. It's important to never assume a child with CP is cognitively impaired just because they can't speak or control their movements. Many have a lot to tell and just need means like communication devices to express themselves. So I'll go over communication. Some individuals with cerebral palsy, especially diskinetic types, may have difficulty speaking clearly. Speech therapy and augmentative communication devices, ranging from simple picture boards to advanced speech generating tablets, can help tremendously. With these supports, even nonverbal individuals with CP can often communicate effectively. We'll now go over health and lifespan. Most children with CP will live to adulthood. In fact, many have normal life expectancies, especially if their impairments are mild. Those with severe disabilities may have somewhat reduced lifespan due to health complications, like breathing issues or seizures. But this is very case dependent. Proper medical care, management of issues can improve longevity. Now we're going to discuss the independence of people with cerebral palsy. This too varies. Some adults with CP live independently, pursue careers. They are doctors, lawyers, teachers with CP. They marry, they have children. Others require assistance with daily tasks throughout life and live with family or in supportive living arrangements. Education and inclusion play big roles. Inclusive schooling and adaptive technologies have allowed many with CP to achieve higher levels of independence than most generations. As a parent, especially early on, it's hard not to focus on what your child might not do. But many parents of older kids with CP will tell you, focus on what your child can do and will learn to do, and celebrate those milestones. Every achievement, for instance, using an eye tracker gaze to select a message on a device, taking their first independent step at age 4, or learning to feed themselves with an adaptive spoon is huge. Progress in CP can continue throughout life. It doesn't all stop at childhood. I'm going to discuss some of the medical treatments and therapies for cerebral palsy. There is no cure for cerebral palsy currently, but there are countless treatments to address its effects and improve a child's capabilities and comfort. A management plan for CP is highly individualized, but can include physical therapy, and this is usually the cornerstone of CP management. From infancy onward, PT can help improve muscle strength, flexibility, and functional movements. Babies might start with infant stimulation and developmental exercises as they grow. PT may involve learning to roll, sit, crawl, or use assistive devices, and later skills like balance and coordination. And I want to go over occupational therapy, otherwise known as OT. OT focuses on fine motor skills and daily activities, such as self-feeding, dressing, etc. For a young child, an OT might work on grasping objects, bringing hands together, or using special utensils to eat. As children get older, OTs help with skills like writing or alternative writing methods, such as using a computer, and life skills. They also address sensory issues if present. I also couldn't talk about speech and language therapy, which can help children who have difficulty with speech clarity or language delays. For nonverbal or minimally verbal children, speech therapies also help with augmentative and alternative communication. Finding the right communication system is important so the child can express themselves. For children who can speak, therapy can improve articulation and breath control. Speech therapists can additionally help with feeding and swallowing difficulties, which are common in CP. There are also medications to help reduce muscle tightness and spasticity, and these medications can be obtained through the doctors. These can be taken orally and, in more severe cases, delivered via a pump implanted under the skin, which continuously administers the drug to the spinal fluid, and this is sometimes very helpful. For children with localized spasticity, like tightening in the calf muscles causing toe walking, sometimes Botox injections into those muscles can provide temporary relief and improve a range for a few months at a time. If seizures are part of the picture, about 1 in 3 kids with CP have epilepsy. Anticonvulsant medications like Keppra will be prescribed to control those. Orthopedic interventions are also an option. Over time, spasticity can lead to orthopedic issues, hip dislocations, scoliosis, or tight tendons. Orthopedic surgeons may recommend braces or orthotics to keep the feet in good position, or when a child is older, surgery to lengthen the tendons or muscles, and that can help improve mobility. A significant procedure is selective dorsal rhizotomy, SDR, a neurosurgery done usually between the ages of 3 to 8 for certain children with spastic CP. SDR involves cutting some of the sensory nerve fibers in the spinal cord and are contributing to spasticity in the legs. It can permanently reduce spasticity and, combined with intensive therapy, improve walking function for the right candidates. Not all children with CP qualify or need it, but it's an option in specialized centers. There's also assistive technology equipment. Many tools exist to help children with CP be as independent as possible. These range from walkers, standers, gait trainers that can help them practice walking or staying upright, to wheelchairs for mobility, to adaptive seating systems that provide support. There are also a lot of communication devices, and they are crucial for some. Even simple home modifications like bath chairs for safety or ramps fall under this umbrella. Therapists usually guide what equipment is appropriate and help with the process of obtaining it. Often insurance will cover it if justified as medically necessary. There are also innovative therapies. New approaches and therapies continue to emerge. Even therapeutic horseback riding can help with core strength and gait. Constraint-induced movement therapy, or CIMT, is used for kids with one weaker arm. The child's stronger arm is gently constrained, like in a cast, for a period each day so that they are forced to use the weaker arm, which can dramatically improve its function. Aquatic therapy is also used and can allow freedom of movement that might not be possible on land, building strength in a low-impact way. And now robotics and computer-based therapies like a robotic gait training treadmills or video game-based rehab are being studied and implemented in some rehab centers. Families should feel empowered to ask their medical team about any therapies they hear of. Whether or not all are appropriate or evidence-based, many can complement traditional therapies and make positive differences. One key message: early and ongoing intervention is crucial. The brain is the most plastic, adaptable in early childhood, so therapies and experiences in those years can really shape a child's abilities. But progress can happen at any age. Don't give up improvements even in teen or adult years. Parents with a child with CP often need emotional and psychological support. The journey of raising a child with CP can be emotionally intense. Parents often experience a range of feelings: grief, mourning the typical experience they had, worry about the child's future, stress from managing medical appointments, and also tremendous love and pride in their child's achievements. It's important to acknowledge your emotions and seek support when needed. Many parents find great comfort and practical advice by connecting with other parents of children with CP. Consider joining support groups through organizations like the United Cerebral Palsy, UCP, or CP-specific Facebook groups. For instance, there are groups like CP Moms, or others even segmented by type of CP or severity. In these communities, you can share milestones. People will genuinely celebrate when your child takes a first step or says a first word at their own timeline. Ask a doctor for a therapist recommendations and get tips, like how to get a stubborn insurance to approve a wheelchair, or how to manage during hospital stays. Knowing others who get it and combat the loneliness that some special needs parents feel in their local circles is helpful. Some areas also have local meetups or parent mentor programs. UCP affiliates and hospitals sometimes host family days or playgrounds for kids with disabilities. Attending those can help you and your family make friends who understand your life. Don't overlook professional counseling for yourself or your family. If you find yourself feeling depressed, chronically anxious, or struggling to bond with your child due to the stress, a therapist can help you process these feelings in a healthy way. There is no shame in seeking mental health support. Caring for children with extra needs can be inherently stressful, and you deserve outlets for your own well-being. Strong caregivers make for better care for children. I'm now going to cover legal rights and advocacy for children with cerebral palsy. Many children with cerebral palsy have specific legal rights, particularly when it comes to education and accessibility. Under laws like Individuals with Disabilities Act in the U.S., your child is entitled to free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. Medical expenses for a child with cerebral palsy can be 10 times higher than that for a child without a disability. These figures often far exceed what a family can cover on their own, even with insurance and governmental programs. If negligence is suspected, say mismanaged labor leading to H.I.E, or failure to treat jaundice leading to Kernicterus, consulting a qualified birth injury attorney is a crucial step. They will gather evidence by reviewing medical records and often can determine if there were deviations from the standard of care. A strong case may lead to either a settlement or a trial verdict. There have been numerous cases, some with multi-million-dollar awards, as we've mentioned. An example is the $14.5 million verdict in one case recently due to mismanaged labor, and many settlements in the millions. These funds typically cover things like a trust for the future care of medical needs, therapies, home modifications, lost earning capacity for the child. In some cases, structured settlements are set up to provide payments throughout the child's life. Keep in mind that malpractice cases can take years to resolve. They require expert witnesses and can be emotionally difficult as they relive the circumstances of the birth. However, many families gain peace of mind from holding a negligent party accountable and obtaining resources to give the child the best quality of life. If you are considering this route, it's advisable to start early due to the statute of limitations, which can sometimes be told for a child until they're of a certain age, but it's always good to consult so that you're not missing any statute. Also, choose an attorney from a firm that specializes in birth injury cases like ours. These will have expertise to navigate the medical details. One positive thing is that most of these attorneys work on contingency, so you do not pay unless we win your case, and initial consultations are free. So there's little financial risk in just seeking an opinion. No one can tell you whether to pursue a lawsuit or not. It's a personal decision. But know that many families of children with cerebral palsy caused by medical errors have gone through this, and it has allowed them to afford things like therapy and intensive programs and things like wheelchairs or vans, private nursing care, and these can drastically improve the child's daily life. The legal process can also bring some closure or answers about what exactly went wrong, which some parents need to heal emotionally. If you have a child that has a birth injury that caused cerebral palsy, I'm happy to go over the details with you and review the records. We can sit down and determine if there's a viable claim. If there is, we will come up with a detailed strategy to bring the suit and hopefully obtain the compensation that you deserve, and you can help set up care for your child in the future. If you'd like to do that consult, you can reach me at Kelly Law Team at 602-283-4122.